Hi OGs! So how was your Christmas? Poison Ivy had an amazing Christmas opening up other people's presents. She is really helpful like that. I spent the day making lots of food, including some homemade mac and cheese, which is one of my favorite things ever. We also made some cookies and these amazing Oreo balls, which I had been wanting to try for a while now. I ran out of white chocolate, but nobody complained except for the people who didn't get any. Aside from eating, though, I always really look forward to Christmas week. It's a chance to catch our breath after the holiday rush at OG, and I also love to think about what projects that I need to start worrying about for the next year. One of those projects for this year is my garage situation. I have got an enormous disaster going on in my garage right now. The problem is that I share my garage from my house with storage space for the business, and so I'm using one of these days off this week to just see if I can first of all clean things out, but then also hopefully make a plan, like an organization plan going forward, so that we'll be able to function in here. I use it for like my personal house stuff, like, all regular garage things, but I also do a lot of gardening now, so I need space for that. I need space for like seed starting and to store all my stuff, and I want to be able to get to it easily because I do garden every single weekend and then also throughout the week too. But right now what I'm finding is I have to constantly shift things around just to get to my gardening stuff. Forget parking a car in here or anything like that. That has not happened in a long time. But then also we store all of our boxes when we get them for shipping and for when we have big promotions and for the kit club and everything like that. So my team needs to be able to get in here and get to what they need really easily too. And then whenever we get new shipments in, we just need to have a place to put them. So without having to move things around all the time. And then another thing that happens is we get our container every few months of foam, and sometimes we have to use this garage as a temporary storage facility for that too. So this garage is not very big, but it's performing a whole lot of duties, and I just need to come up with a plan. So I'm starting with my pad here. I got some graph paper. I always like to start with stuff on paper. I'm going to make a list of what the needs are and then see if I can come up with a plan of how I want to organize this, and then I'm going to get started on doing it. I think I might have a plan. So right now I've got this situation with toolboxes back there that my son can never get to unless he wants to move a bunch of boxes out of the way. And then if he does move the boxes out of the way, what ends up happening is he blocks my walkway over here to where all of my gardening stuff is. So I think what I'm going to do is move those toolboxes to this spot where the freezer is. This freezer is like also my desk and seed starting area, which doesn't really work very well, but the toolboxes would fit perfectly there. My seed starting shelf can move, and then this area would be clear so that when we get our shipments, which are always between 2 and 4 pallets, 2 pallets will line up against the wall over there pretty nicely. And if needed, they could come out 2 pallets deep, and there would be enough room for that. We could keep things stacked nicely instead of piling everything here and then me not being able to park my car in here. So pallets over here. This area down this whole wall just needs to be cleaned out. It seems like this is just where a lot of things have gone to die. But what I can turn this into is my gardening area. I can put my seed starting shelves over here, and then also maybe make myself a little workspace for doing the seed starting and then whatever other things that I need to store for gardening. I will leave this big shelf here in place because it's pretty good for fabric storage. Maybe clean up all my other stuff that I've got stored over there. We also have shipping tape and pins and all kinds of things like that. So I'll leave that for the extra overflow storage from the shop. But my car does fit in here with that shelf when all of this junk isn't piled up in the way. This is obviously going to be a really big job, but I feel like at least having a plan in place, I feel a little bit better. Aside from my garage, one of the other things that I spent a good amount of time catching up on was my garden. I finally dug up some sweet potatoes that I had planted all the way back in April, which was extra exciting for me because I wasn't even sure there was any potatoes in there. I had found one small one in there like 2 months ago, but that was it, and I left them alone. But it turns out that there were tons of them now. So a lot of them were pretty small, so I ended up just digging up about half of them or less for now. But I did get a couple of really nice ones. I also took some cuttings off of the vine so that I could start rooting them to plant in a couple of months from now. I was thinking that I was also going to have to pull out my tomatoes this week, but suddenly they are covered in tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes. Can you believe it? They got a late start too. I had planted them in early October, but then when Milton was coming, I unplanted them so that they wouldn't get demolished. So I'm just kind of amazed that they're still doing okay. And so I cleaned them up a little bit, and I'm just going to see how far I can get with them. After that, I started my seeds for spring, which I just can't wait for. I started seeds for tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, melons, and eggplant. And if you happen to know anything good to do with eggplant, please let me know. The one that I grew last year became a tree. It was huge, and I had no idea what to do with them all. But here I am trying to grow another one this year. And then just for no reason, this is all my lettuce. I'm so proud of it. It all looks so pretty, and it's all doing really well. And I even have some strawberries growing, which is so cool. I just planted these in October, and literally there's already little strawberries. And speaking of strawberries, it's a little early for this, but I also took time this week to get a head start for our 2025 challenge. A few weeks back, we had a new fabric rep come to the shop, and she showed us these adorable strawberry fabrics, and I decided on the spot that they were going to be my challenge fabrics for 2025. Everyone else in the shop loved them too, and Tammy, my executive assistant, made this little strawberry topper from a glass bead and a tiny flower sequin. For those of you who are new to OG, every year we do a 12 weeks of Christmas challenge where we make one ornament per week leading up to Christmas, and 2025 is going to be our eighth, actually, our eighth one. But I'd really like to get a good head start on it this year. It's a little early, but it really does take a good bit of time to put together every year. There's tons of pictures to take, plus a blog post and an email every single week, and then any back-end stuff for putting all the patterns for sale and all that good stuff. So I thought I'd start working on this now so it's not as overwhelming when fall gets here. And plus, I'm just so excited about these fabrics. My team and I do still need to finalize which 12 patterns that we'll be using for the challenge for 2025, but we always start with the basic star pattern for week 1. So I went ahead and I started making mine. And I was thinking I might even do a new basic star YouTube video with these as well this week. It's been a while since we've done a basic star video, so that might be fun. So guys, that was some of my vacation week. I hope that you guys have all enjoyed your Christmas and that you have a very happy new year.